By Florida Home AC, JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars, Fred Taylor, bring you highlights and analysis from today's game. Jaguars Postgame, presented by Florida Home AC, is brought to you by Farah and Farah, Baptist Health, and by TIAA Bank. Now, to get things started, here's JP Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick with pride of the Jaguars, running back Fred Taylor. Final score, Steelers 16, Jaguars 15 in preseason week 2. A missed field goal at the end from 57 yards. Gave up the score late on a 1-yard pass from Rudolph to Snead for the Steelers to win this game. But the story around the Jaguars is going to be the starters tonight and how they played. The offensive starters, Fred, went until halftime. The defensive starters came back out for their opening drive of the second half. What did you make? Let's start with the offense tonight. How did you feel things went?
JP, what's good, man?
Hey, man.
I thought they did well. I thought they started pretty fast. I thought they was crisp. They execute really well on third downs.
Yes, they did.
I think they finished the half. They were 56% or something like that. So Trevor made some really good throws in there, showed some good accuracy. I think 2 balls he was off to Kirk on third downs. But other than that, he really did some amazing throws. Travis Etienne, man, he looks very good. I'm excited to be able to watch him this year, hoping that he stays healthy. I thought the offensive line did a pretty good job up front, other than that one sack there early in the game. But T.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year.
What do you want?
But other than that, they kept the quarterback clean. But more impressively, just to see that with the system, seeing guys run open, around the field, seeing that the quarterback has time. So by design, I believe that you can expect the offense this year to be a bit more explosive, offense under Coach Peterson. And I think that because of that design, it's easier for those guys to pass protect, But, yeah, man, the running game looked pretty good, strong. The pass game looked pretty good.
Red zone was a focus this week, as was third downs. And as you said, the starting group did pretty well on third downs. But the red zone, they faltered again, couldn't punch it in for touchdowns. And that was an emphasis this week for head coach Doug Peterson. He said it again at halftime. And at some point, you got to start putting it in the end zone more often.
You definitely have to. I think they had a 15-play, 83-yard drive on the third possession there, and only got 3 from that, started at their 10-yard line. That's when you definitely, want to see those guys capitalize. Anytime, really, when you're in the red zone, you want to see them put that in there and definitely not come away with, missed field goals just on the outside of the red zone. But, the good thing, again, just going back to it, JP, didn't see, any turnovers from that group. I thought they played very disciplined football. No penalty. They had the one penalty on the left side right there, a holding call against Cam. But other than that, they played really efficient football.
It was a holding call, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it was a holding call.
he got his
it was
worth.
a holding call. And they had a few more later in the game, but even to finish the half, I think the one unnecessary roughness on the field goal right there, that was gray area call for me. And then I believe there was another delay of game they called on Trevor.
It was like coming out of a break, too.
It's coming out of a break, so you don't want to see that, especially going to wrap up the half. Very next play, they ran the ball. But offense looked solid, and the defense just looked lights out. Flying around, a lot of high energy guys running around making plays, a lot of pressure on Trubisky early in the game. So you can win with that.
That's Fred Taylor. I'm JP Shadrick. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coming up in just a few moments, Ashlyn Sullivan will have head coach Doug Peterson after a preseason week 2 loss. It's 16-15, the final score of the Steelers over the Jaguars. And this is Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been a leader in direct mail for over a decade. Using the latest technology, Kessler can now reach your ideal audience even more effectively. Choose from between a couple of response channels, from direct mail to landing pages designed to engage and initiate responses with potential customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class health care. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
Welcome back. Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. No, Mike Dempsey's out this week. My apologies. Fred Taylor is with us, of course.
Shout out Big Mike. He's out doing a good deed.
Yeah.
He's out doing a good deed, man. He got to take his kid to school, right?
That's right.
I
It's a
remember
good
those
thing.
days.
Family first.
Family always first. Always.
We'll have Mike back with us next week.
Yep.
That was just in my mental,
It
thing.
happens.
It's just I'm used to saying that for 8 years straight, Fred. But we'll have Mike back with us next week. Hey, we're going to hear from Doug Peterson coming up, and I'm sure Ashlyn will probably ask him about the offensive performance, and the receivers were out there together for the first time in a game. Christian Kirk, I think, showed what he can be to this offense tonight, finding a way to get open. He had 5 catches on 8 targets, 54 yards, and it felt like, Fred, that Trevor just overthrew him on 2 or 3 of those, right? It could have been a whole lot more. That's a good sign if you got Kirk that wide open.
Of course. Again, as I mentioned, at opening, just a lot of guys are running around. He had a couple options on a few guys there. But, again, you don't want those miscues, certainly not on third downs, 3rd and 4. I think the first one he overthrew him, 3rd and 4, and then another corner route he overthrew him.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the velocity is there, the accuracy is there. I'm sure if he got those back, you don't get a lot of opportunities. But if he did, I'm sure he would execute those. But it's encouraging to see Trevor look as good as he's looked in these 2 preseason games with the amount of snaps that he's been given.
I talked to Marvin Jones Jr. during the game, obviously on the broadcast, and he's in his 11th year in the NFL, Fred. I asked him how he's feeling. First of all, that was the first question. How are you feeling 11 years in? He's like, I'm doing okay. Mm-hmm. And how's this offense coming along? He's the veteran player on this team, and he likes the way guys are in the film room. They're studying everything they need to be doing, and it's the little details of this and nuances of this offense that I think hopefully by opening day will really start to shine. But it's in moments like this tonight and then in the practices against Atlanta next week where you're going to see a lot of that really develop, I think.
Yeah, the thing about Marvin Jones, man, he's a savvy vet. He's been around. And those young guys, they'll look up to him. Down there on the sideline, just me peeking around, haven't been down there in the 2 years.
It was nice to see you down there, by the way.
It was good to be there. It felt great just being in that environment. But just to see him, moving around, just a lot of energy, rooting on the other guys, rooting on the young guys on the, the offense, as well as the defensive side of the ball. That's what you want to see from a captain, 11-year vet. So that right there in itself, JP, will create the trust, that you need, especially in their position room. So I'm pretty sure, the guys like Zay Jones and the Christian Kirks, they're looking up to him, and they trust what he's giving back to him. So that's always a good thing. And, it's easier for him to work with the quarterback, as a leader, as a guy who's been there, as a guy who can keep the other guys at bay when things aren't going their way. So shout out to MJ, man, and not the MJ, but MJJ. You're right.
Talking about the GOAT over there.
No, not the GOAT. Not
okay.
quite, not yet. But he's going to help this team a lot.
Fred Taylor, JP Shadrick. It's Jaguars postgame, and the Jaguars fall tonight by a score of 16-15. We're standing by. Head coach Doug Peterson will catch up with Ashlyn Sullivan coming up here on Jaguars postgame in just a few moments. Offensive line under the microscope tonight. The right tackle position rotated in the first half. Dejuan Taylor, Walker Little. Mm-hmm. I saw them both on the sideline together between drives over there with the offensive line, basically trading notes all the time. I mean, they are still teammates. Yes, they're competing, but it's a good thing to see those guys kind of working together for the cause and see what comes out of it. But what'd you make of them tonight?
You know, I always go back to say this. Coaches love position battles. It's going to make somebody better. Somebody has to come to the forefront. But more importantly, it gives them a glimpse as they look into, the depth that it creates in the team. So if you have to make a decision on which guy is going to be in there, the good thing is, you got an insurance card, right? And the players also welcome that because they enjoy competing. I think overall you want to have a clear-cut number one before the season starts. That way they can get beside his guard. They can be better communications between those guys and create a better gel, which will make all of those guys better. But Walter Little gave up the sack to TJ early. Overall, I thought they did well. Again, the run game looked pretty good. And those guys are going to continue to play their butts off because they know one of those guys want to get out there and be the guy before week one.
Defensively, we saw Dejuan Smoot really flash tonight a couple times and certainly got the holding call in the end zone. That was a big play in the game for the defense. But in the first quarter, the starting defense is out there, and they put together a really good night, I thought, Fred. They didn't have a lot of pressure early on the quarterback, but then they held down that run game very well for the Steelers, though. Yeah,
they were great in the run. I mean, absolutely amazing against the run. And that's what you want to see because those are going to keep you in a lot of games. You're going to force a lot of situations where third and long, and I thought they got off the field and did really well. I think the Steelers were 1 for 5.
Yes, good.
And at the end of the first half. So they're going to put their team in good position. The pressure that I saw early on, Trubisky kind of alluded. I was like, "Is that Big Ben back there?" But he was an escape artist for a while, and so they were getting upfield. They slightly harassed him, got him off his mark, but they just got to bring him down. You want to have those turn into sacks, but those guys they pick and choose. They took their turns. Trayvon Walker was getting upfield. Josh Allen was getting upfield. You had some interior pressure. Key got him one. Got up in there. But you want to see that Smoot, as you mentioned, creating the havoc, create the holding call, and that's really a safety in the end zone, basically just a turnover, right?
Is it just us? Doug, how'd you feel about your starting defense tonight in their play?
Other than the 2-minute drive at the end of the half, I thought they played well. I don't have the stat book in front of me, but I think someone told me it was maybe 1.2 yards per attempt, I think, in the running game and stuff like that. I really felt like they got after them, early and often. 2-minute drive, though, is something that, we got to get better at.
You guys had a lot of really good looks on third down offensively. Trevor missed a couple throws early on, but you still were, I think, 4 of your first 6. How did you feel like it went for you on third down?
Yeah, that was something we talked about this week and wanted to do better in is the third down scenarios, and I felt like the first unit was able to do that tonight. And we still missed. We still missed some opportunities, which again we got a little time here to learn from and correct, and as we finish up camp here in a week or so.
Those are obviously long kicks, but how do you evaluate Santoso tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not good enough. We had a chance to win the game, had a chance to start the game, 3-0, and. It's disappointing, but I know he'll battle back this week and try to correct it.
Is everything all right with Shaq Griffin?
Yeah, he just had a little, I think, some back tightness this morning when he woke up, and so we tried to get him loose. And the nature of where we are in camp and stuff, you just don't want to push guys like that and risk further injury.
Doug, for a second consecutive week, your starters come out with a lead. How hard is it to separate that from, the reserves and a lot of guys who aren't going to make the team, but you end up losing, considering where this club was a year ago? You talk so much about healing. I imagine winning a game would have meant something, even though it was the preseason.
Yeah, and that's a fine line, obviously, and there's still I think there's a lot of good positive takeaways from tonight, with the starters and feel good there, and the young guys are going to learn. There were some good things that they did, but obviously the sort of the obvious things, right, are we can't turn the ball over in the red zone. We got points there again, potentially, and we got to tackle better, and things of that nature in the second half. But I think if you look at where we are as starters, I think we're right on track to where we need to be and where we want to be, and that gives us a lot of hope as we head into the regular season.
Certainly, you need to look at the film, but could you get an idea of Ben Bartch tonight at left guard, and was there any separation for either one of the two right tackles?
I think it's going to be early until we watch the film and really, chop it up in the morning and really see. But I thought overall pretty good. It was a good test too. TJ's out there, TJ Watt's out there playing the first couple series, and it was good for our tackles to play against him and get some work in that way. So we'll evaluate the film in the morning and probably have a better determination on that.
Doug, you didn't finish with touchdowns offensively, but drove in the first half with the starting unit. How do you assess that?
Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough. We got to finish drives with scores. And that's something we talk about and work on. Quite a bit with the red zone, and we just got to keep working. The offense understands that. One, we got to run the football in the red zone. Number one, and we tried to do that tonight, and that wasn't good enough. And we just got to keep plugging away. And look at it and get better and make sure we get the right guys in there and get ready here in a couple of weeks.
Doug, the Chad Bouma starting the night, almost making that interception on the sideline, and then being able to make the tackle on the touchdown pass. How do you evaluate your inside linebacking room, especially with Devin missing most of training camp? Are you comfortable right now with Shaq Quarterman and Chad Bouma in that kind of interior rotating role?
Right now, obviously, it with Devin not being out there, it definitely kind of weakens the core because both Chad and Shaq are also special teams players, and they're getting a lot of double work out there, and it can play a little bit into the fatigue factor, especially in the second half of football games. But these guys have done well. They've played well, and the more time they get on the field, the better they're going to become. And these are valuable reps for them, even in Devin's absence right now. But at some point we got to get Devin back on the field too, and really help that room out.
Coach, this month is the league's play initiative, and a lot of prep athletes were able to come to games through the first two preseason games. Obviously, you guys were at Episcopal. Just what does it mean to be able to see some of those younger guys see you guys up close and have that experience?
Yeah, our hats off to Episcopal for allowing us to come out there for camp and be a part of their school, for the last 4 weeks or so, and then to have, their team came out to practice one day, and then to see all the youth that are involved. I just think it's encouraging to see, that at the youth level, and really for them to be a part of, our guys and for us to kind of rub shoulders with them and see what it's all about, and some of these young kids have hopes and dreams to one day be, on this stage and to see our guys do it and what they go through, I think can be motivating to them to work hard at it.
Doug, what are you seeing out of Dejuan Smoot and Arden Key?
Really good things, honestly. Two players that are, I think, dynamic pass rushers. Smoot's a little different. He's more of a bull type guy. He's physical and strong. Arden's quick and slithery and can bend. And I think both of them have unique skills that obviously we can exploit defensively for us. And I think they're both having a really good camp right now.
Doug, apologize if you've already been asked this. Could you just talk a little bit about not being able to finish some of those first half scoring drive, first and 10 at the 12? Trevor had a couple third down throws to Christian where it was there. He just, one instance, he let him too much, and the ball was too high.
Well, I made a conscious effort, as a play caller when we did get to the red zone tonight, that we were going to focus a little bit on the run game, and we kind of pride ourselves on that, being able to run the football in the red zone, and we've got to do a little bit better there. And in Trevor's case, we just got to get him to kind of calm down early in the football game and settle in. There were some throws that were missed that I know he would want back, and we've seen him make those throws in practice, so we know he's capable of doing it. It's just a matter of just kind of taking a deep breath as he starts the game and settle in. But those are all things that we continue to work on. We got a couple weeks left here in camp, and we'll try to get better.
Doug, in terms of the play calling in the red zone, was it a little more, I guess, less vanilla than it was last week against Cleveland, or was it more just a lack of execution this week from your guys?
It's a little both. And again, when you're in preseason mode, you don't necessarily scheme your opponent, because they're playing some guys and we're playing some guys, and you just want to see execution. So, where we missed was on that part of it, just execution. I give credit to Pittsburgh. I mean, they made some plays down there and got some stops that, led to one field goal for us. Obviously, should have had the second one or the first one, I guess, but those are all areas that we're going to take a look at this tape and make the corrections.
Okay. Doug, thank you, sir.
You got another one?
Yeah. Last one, Gene. Share the mic. Last question
here. Foley went down early in the game. Is there any update on him?
Not at this time. I'm going to wait till the guys come in the morning, get a full medical. We'll see where he's at. Last word I got was he was okay. He wanted to go back in the football game, but we just said, pump the brakes and we'll get him healthy. So I'll have a better answer for you either tomorrow or the next day. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Not game time, but whatever he has an opportunity to get, hopefully he gets some, and then hopefully for him it'll carry over to the regular season.
That's Fred Taylor. I'm JP Shadrick. Doug Peterson's press conference has completed. He is walking down the hall. At least we think so. We can't see him in the hallway. But he's going to go catch up with Ashlyn Sullivan here in a moment, and we'll hear his thoughts on tonight's game. A loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 16-15 the final score. The starting offense goes the entire first half tonight. They got a 2-minute opportunity. It fell short. That's what he wanted to see as well. They got another 2-minute opportunity at the end of the game and missed the field goal at the end. The defense, the starters for the Jaguars on the defensive side, actually opened the second half as well. They played a little longer into it. And Peterson said before the game that, maybe 25 snaps somewhere in there from the defense. They were just a bit shy of that, and they got that going into the second half. Head coach Doug Peterson with Ashlyn Sullivan outside the Jaguars locker room. Ashlyn?
Thank you, JP. We are here with head coach Doug Peterson, and we spoke all week, and we spoke pregame about how we were going to see the starting offense play more. They won't go to halftime. Your observations of the starting offense?
I thought they did some good things. We started fat. We did, I think, a little bit up and down. A little bit up and down. We missed some things in both the run and pass games tonight. But I did think overall the execution was pretty good, but definitely wanted to see them play the first half and get get some different situations in there. We tried to get them a 2-minute drive there at the end of the half and work some scenarios that way. But I think we're right on track where we need to be. Still got a couple weeks here to get some things ironed out. Mm-hmm. Definitely we improved a little bit on third down in the first half with our first unit, and then we just still have to get better with the red zone. That's another area that we have to focus on.
Mm-hmm. And starting defense, it was funny. We were writing our notes before halftime. We said, man, they're lights out. And then that 2-minute drive happened, and everyone was saying, okay, well, that's why you practice the 2-minute drive in the preseason, right?
Exactly right. And that, I thought the defense up to that point was playing extremely well. And even to start the third quarter, they had the stop there and mm-hmm. forced them to punt and got off the field. So, outside that 2-minute drive, they played extremely well. Kept and Pittsburgh did play some of their starters, on offense and especially the offensive line. So it was good to see that they could go up against, starting, caliber guys in the NFL and played well. Played lights out, like you said, and that was good to see. But now we got to go back and evaluate that 2-minute and make the corrections.
Yeah, and you look at that defensive roster, and we spoke last week a lot about the depth of this team. Then you look at Smoot. And you look at Arden Key and Adam Gossis and then Tim Jones on offense. And it seems like this team kept the game much more in check in the third quarter than last week.
They did, and I think that's what they learned from last week, and that's kind of what we talked about, is learning how to finish, and this team needs to learn how to do that. And, I thought we took a little step closer to doing that. We just failed at the end of the game. But those guys you mentioned played well. I think Adam came up with a big fumble recovery in the game, and both Arden Key and Smoot are dynamic pass rushers. They can push the pocket, and they're going to be solid players for us, and just adds to the depth of that defensive line. And we've got to learn how to overall finish better, especially in that fourth quarter.
Christian Kirk making his preseason debut. It seemed like every time you looked his way, he was open, basically.
He made some great catches, made some tough catches, and that's why we brought him, to make those type of catches for us. It was fun to kind of get him out there and see him and Zay and Marv together, and even to get LaVisca a touch or two out there. It was good to get him back in the fold offensively, and of course on special teams, and then even Jamal. Jamal got a couple of touches early, but all those guys are kind of working themselves back into sort of playing shape. Especially the guys I mentioned at the end. But Christian is a solid player. He's a great leader. He and Trevor are on the same page a lot. And that's good to see.
And now we look to joint practice with the Falcons here in a couple of days. What's the biggest goal for the team going into those practices?
Just still to get good work. Get good quality work with our starters, and in a controlled environment. It's nothing live. It's all the thud type practice, and really get some good quality work against another opponent. And it's like playing a game during the middle of the week, and just. Again, we're still evaluating us, and we're still trying to get better. We're not necessarily scheming anybody, and yet, we've got to see the improvement each week with our football team, and we still got a couple of weeks before the season kicks off.
It is crazy to think it's a couple more weeks. Are you ready for regular season, or do we still need these couple more weeks?
What is it, 2 weeks from tomorrow?
Yeah, 2 weeks. Seems like a long way away.
Yeah, it does, but it's going to be here. It's going to be here extremely, maybe 3 weeks away. But anyway, I can't remember. But it's moving fast. But at the same time, we got the right combination of guys in that locker room, guys that really want to work and they want to improve and get better, and that's a positive, and that's what we can build on.
Love it. Well, Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you, JP.
All right, Ashlyn, well done. Thank you very much. It's 3 weeks for the record, Fred, until the opener.
With Coach, I don't know. When it gets here, it'll be here. He's so tuned into right now, and I think that's what matters the most, being in the moment. Coach Pola used to always say that, embrace the moment, because we always tend to undervalue the moment and the time we have. We always overestimate how much time we have. So you got to take advantage of right now. So I think that's what he's saying.
Let's come back. We'll dig into that a little bit more. The defensive play of the game is coming up as well, presented by Kingfish Pest Control. Jags fall in preseason week 2, 16-15 the final. Steelers a winner, and it's Jaguars postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
Brooks Rehabilitation has more than 50 years of experience serving the North Florida community with cutting-edge rehabilitation care, ranging from joint replacements, sports injuries, and balance issues, to traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord injuries, and strokes. Their highly trained clinical teams span across their system of care to include inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing, assisted living and memory care, home health, and adaptive community programs. Learn more at brooksrehab.org. Brooks is proud to be the rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about custom boxes to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Welcome back. Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Jaguars fall in preseason week 2. Steelers 16, Jaguars 15. JP Shadrick, Fred Taylor. No Mike Dempsey this week. He'll be back with us next week as the Jaguars visit the Atlanta Falcons. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. How about some of the comments of Doug Peterson there? Some up and down, he said, and, the 2-minute drive, you need to see that on the field, and they faltered a couple times there tonight, but at least they got some tape to work on some things there, and now it's on to the practices next week.
Yeah, JP, it's always one thing to be in this position that we're in, be able to make comments based on what we saw on the field, but they're in those meeting rooms. He's the head man. He knows how he expects those guys to execute it. He knows the play design, progression reads, all that other stuff that we don't get an opportunity to really understand because we're not in there. We speak to what we see, and we're just Monday morning quarterbacks, post-game radio show. So the ups and downs, I think that's where that comment comes from. But more importantly, the thing that stood out for me, he said they're on track, which means he likes what he sees, and we can work with that, and we can continue to build on that. He also said in the joint practice that's coming up, he wants to get the quality reps with the starters, and he's not going to take it lightly, so he's going to take full advantage of that, even though he doesn't know how much time it is between now and the first game. He knows he's going to take advantage of the opportunity that they have when they go with the Falcons.
Time now for the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. And we'll go with Dejuan Smoot. In the third quarter, 9:15 to play in the third. Smoot got in on the quarterback and forced a throw into a vacant area on the right sideline. After a conversation among the officials, they dropped the flag. Intentional grounding in the end zone. It's a safety. Dejuan Smoot forced the issue. The sideline celebrated like crazy. The defense ran off the field with 2 points and the football back to their offense. So that's a pretty good defensive play in our book. That's the Kingfish Pest Control defensive play of the game. Let the pros tackle the pests in your home by going to kingfishpest.com. That's kingfishpest.com. Dejuan Smoot, and they said it on the broadcast tonight, Fred, in his first year or so here, there was a question whether he was going to make the roster, and he's kind of made his way along, hung around, found roles. Now he's got a contract. He's back, and he's a really solid pass rusher. You heard Doug Peterson say it too.
Yeah, he helps create that depth that we were talking about. A guy who's been around, he's a hard worker. Through hard work, through that grind and that effort, you're going to make some plays. And he's one of those guys that he always finds a way to show up in the stat book, in the stat sheet. whether it's, sack here or there, forced fumble, the safety right there in the end zone. So, always shout out to Smoot, man. Just a good kid, too.
Yep.
He always reaches out to me and just wants to understand this life thing and business and ball, how he should carry himself. So, it matters to him. And that's what I've taken away from him because more than anything else, I think he's the one player that has expressed, willingness to reach out to me. I don't know much about defensive line and what he needs to get done. But, he reaches out to me and he just wants to talk, talk football, talk life, talk business, and where he should be. So it matters to him.
Yeah. And there's I would say you're a fantastic resource, Fred, for all of the above. Defensive football too, because you used to run through those guys all the time.
I know some stuff, but I don't know. I can't get in their playbook, and talk that lingo with them.
You can give a different perspective.
I can give a different perspective,
But,
again, just going back to that it matters. I think he has a sense of urgency that makes.
Trevor, overall, how do you feel like, it went tonight? How did it feel out there? And did it, like last week, did it feel like, just took a little bit to maybe get settled in?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't like to say too much before I watch it and see. And there's definitely a lot of good things to watch from the tape and learn from. Pittsburgh did a nice job, gave a lot of different looks. So there'll be a lot of things to learn from. I'd say just obviously you want to score more touchdowns. Similar theme as last week. So got to improve there. You've seen our ability to drive the ball and time of possession and keep drives going has been great, and that's something that's going to really help us throughout the season. But in order to win these games, you got to score more points. So from there, I'd say that's the first thing obviously that comes to mind. That's the obvious. And then I think I left a few plays out there, got a little bit antsy with my feet at times. So there's some things, individually to work on and to watch. And then I think as a unit, though, there was more good things than bad, especially in that first half with our crew that was out there. I felt good about what the things we did. Obviously, the obvious is to score more touchdowns, but there'll be more to learn from for sure.
Then, obviously a lot of time and passes to Christian out there. Just how important is it to get those kind of game speed reps with him against, another defense as opposed to just in practice?
Yeah, it's different. It's similar. It's different for him, one, because it is full live all the time, and that's not how it is in practice. But then also for me, throwing to him is time clock speeds up a little bit, especially when you're playing against a guy like T.J. Watt, who obviously is a great pass rusher, and so that was great for our group to get to work through that and have a couple series against all those guys, and it's like a real game. And to have 10+ play drives. I don't know if that's exact, but some long drives. So I thought it was great. But yeah, the reps with Christian, obviously it's our first game playing together. That's going to get better and better. I thought he did some nice things. I missed him on one or two early that I'd like to have back, but we'll connect on those.
Balanced attack, Trevor. Balanced attack for you tonight. Doug hinted on it somewhat. The game plan to also come out and try to run the football. What was that like? And you feel like under normal circumstances, once you get into the regular season, that would have changed?
What do you mean? Do I feel like that would have changed?
Red zone and some calls that you made. He said that he wanted to lean a little bit more on the run tonight.
Okay,
do you believe that in a normal set of circumstances, those calls wouldn't have been made?
Yeah, you try to play these games because they're still real games. It's you got to play them like they're real. But on the other hand, you don't game plan the same. You know that you have the season coming up in a couple weeks, and you want to have all your ammo. You want to be prepared, and you got to play it smart. But you also can't come out here and not use anything and get your teeth kicked in. So you got to find the balance. So I think we're doing a great job. I think whatever we run, we just got to execute. And you saw that tonight at times, and other times where we didn't. All around every position. So I'd say from that standpoint, game week, that could change. Yeah, like you said, obviously the game plans are very detailed and in-depth week to week, so it just depends.
That one play, there appeared to be about 3 guys all in the same area when you threw into the end zone. Was that just an offensive breakdown there? Was that a wrong route that was run?
No, I'll have to watch it to make sure, but really from the pictures on the sideline and from just being out there and seeing it unfold, I think we were in the right spots. They covered. It was a little a little naked, and they covered up our flat quick, and then it was zones. They covered up Zay coming across, and then Marvin did a good job working the back of the end zone scramble drill, and I just missed it about a foot wide there, so we should have scored there. So that's one that, along with some to Christian, that I'd want back.
Speaking of the two that you talked about with Christian, one of them you let him a little too much, and the other one it was too high.
Mm-hmm.
When you get back to the sideline, Christian said that you guys don't really talk about regrets or anything like that. You may talk a little bit about scheme, but I mean, in your own mind, I mean, when you walked off, was it like, oh, I should have had that one, should have had that one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first one especially, both of them were on their sideline, but the first one just missed pretty bad. It should have been an easy first down. I think it was like 3rd and 4 or something like that. And the second one had a little bit of pressure and threw the ball a little early and just kind of misplaced it by probably a yard. So that one, that'll happen from time to time. Obviously, the first one was should have been an easy completion. Got to have that. But yeah, we're talking about, and he has the confidence in me. Like I'm gonna make that throw. Like that's not gonna happen often. So we don't really talk much about that. I'm telling him like I got to hit him there. But we're talking more about general scheme. How did the DB play it? Why did he decide to do this on the route instead of this? That's kind of what we're talking about.
Why did you flash that Dikembe Mutombo finger?
I'm just having fun, I'm just having fun out there. I didn't think you guys would catch it, but of course you did. So no, I was talking to Cam after the game. So I grew up a big Tennessee fan, you guys know, and just told him, I was like, hey, I watched you play all through the years. So we ended up switching jerseys. So hopefully he doesn't get mad about the video.
Nobody in the locker room has seen it at this point.
So yeah, so CJ showed me actually. I didn't even realize it's going to be on camera, but I'm just having fun. Nothing, no harm there.
Trevor, how valuable has Mike McCoy been on the sidelines for you, and just kind of coaching you through the game, and when you're looking on the tablet and kind of like you said, looking at the pictures of what the defense is showing, just how valuable has he been so far early on?
He does a great job. I think just his calm presence has been great. He's not a guy that's big, high energy on game day. He stays really calm, and you make a mistake, you miss a throw, whatever. He really just likes to keep looking forward. Doesn't really look back on what happened in the past. I think he does a great job of just getting us ready for the next series. And then, we look at all the pictures. Just has so much experience from guys that he's coached. Being offense coordinator, head coach, all those things. Just every time we're looking at something, he has kind of a different thought that, we're kind of looking at what happened and little things that are more obvious, and he's kind of looking backside of, think about this next time. If this is covered, get to this. A lot of different things. Then Andrew Briner's another guy. He does a great job getting the looks getting the pictures on there for us and really breaking them down. He does an awesome job.
Trevor, in the first half there, you were still 5 for 9 on 3rd downs for that portion of the game. Even despite some stuff that you'd rather have back and still getting Christian in with chemistry-wise, I mean, how much positive is that to say about the offense growing during camp?
Like I said, there's definitely more good than bad today. Obviously, the end result is not what you want. You want to win the game, but I think there was a lot of good things we did and a lot to learn from, obviously. And 3rd down has been something that the last 2 weeks we've done a really good job, and that's been a big emphasis for us because obviously last year we weren't a good 3rd down team. So you got to be, if you're going to be a good offense, you got to be good on 3rd down. So it's good to see that, but like we said, just continuing to finish those drives. Last week was more we were getting down there in the red zone, didn't finish them. This one we just kind of getting stuck in the fringe area. So just all that, just all stuff to work on and situations that we'll work on for sure.
And would you say that as far as the ones that you did miss with Christian, is it too simple to say that it's just chemistry at this point because you guys are new together? Or?
I don't even think that. I think really it's more just 2 missed throws, and that's going to happen. And I know one I threw to the left, didn't feel like I really got set for it properly, so I didn't feel great coming out. And then the other one, like I said, tried to anticipate it because I had a guy on my face and just missed it. So I think we've gotten a lot of work together. I mean, you guys have seen practices. I mean, we've gotten a ton of reps, and he's been a main target. He's done a great job of just us communicating. And so that's going to come, obviously, with time, though, to your point. But, no, it's just missed throws.
Trevor, are you dwelling less on those mistakes, knowing that they're going to get ironed out later on in the preseason, the regular season this year, compared to last year where maybe they got to you a little more in the preseason? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just comes with experience too, realizing that, it's all about the next play, the next game, all that stuff. You can't dwell in the past, especially in this league. It's like I've said, it's a long season, and you really got to put your best foot forward every day. So I think I learned that last year too. Obviously struggling a little bit throughout the season. I had to learn kind of the hard way of how to move on, And so now you have a couple bad plays in a row, you have a bad series, you just got to go on to the next. It doesn't do any good. That already happened. You can't go back and fix it. All you can do is just the next series, try to take it one play at a time and put yourself in a position to score.
Trevor, Christian said in the locker room that just in terms of what you guys have shown in terms of the offensive scheme, it hasn't been very much at all. Is that what you would say as well?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
that's kind of, I don't want to, that's pretty much it.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good one.
Also, we're gonna make it exciting.
Make it unanimous. No, I mean,
were you
make
trying
it.
to were you going another direction?
No.
Oh,
I wanted to see what you're gonna say.
Well, it makes sense, and he described it beautifully. It was well done. It does make sense because we've seen it on the practice field. There's a lot of money going into his bank account too, and I think for the first time, fans wanted to see that in action somehow tonight. And if they hadn't been overthrown a couple times, he would have had bigger stats than that. But that's a good start, and it's building momentum for this offense.
Yeah, the good thing is even with the overthrows, he's finding a way to get open.
That's right.
Those 8 targets, you definitely can work with that. And he's not a big guy.
No.
I just looking at him from afar, watching him play when he was in Arizona and the highlights, I thought he was a bigger guy. But he's not a big guy, man, but he finds a way to get open, and the Jaguar fans are going to, want to see a lot of that, especially to go along with the big check that he just
That's
cashed.
right. That's right.
So he has a lot of he has a lot to live up to, and hopefully he can do it.
He gets separation, man. Like he's just kind of shifty and quick and finds a way, and that's why he's been a really good slot receiver over his years because those guys can find a way to get open pretty quickly and get the ball to him in a hurry, and that's kind of what we saw tonight. And you're right, he's not a big guy at all. I mean, I saw you standing there beside him. I mean, you're a big guy, Fred, but it's not like he's super tall or has blazing speed or anything like that. But if you can get open, it doesn't matter.
That's what's most important. You going back. He reminds me of a Julian Edelman. A guy who can get shifty underneath. They can create certain mismatches versus linebackers, open up the offensive sets, and put them in those positions. 1 under 2, 2 under 3, a lot of crossers. It seems that's what they were doing tonight. Great on out routes, short comeback routes, getting in and out of his breaks to create that separation you was talking about. So if he can do that, you throw that whole size thing out of the conversation.
Has there been a Jaguars receiver like that? I don't remember one recently, certainly, that has been able to do anything close to that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't remember anyone. Man,
because in the early days, they're deep down the field guys, right?
And then they were bigger guys, too.
Yeah.
So in terms of
Jimmy's massive.
Yeah, I think one guy, he wasn't as fast as Christian, but this was years ago. I'm going to say the old Pittsburgh Steeler. Remember Troy Edwards?
Mm-hmm.
Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette, I believe, or something like that. Troy reminds me of him in terms of size and great route running and amazing hands, but wasn't a fast guy. He wasn't going to get behind you. We've seen Christian get behind the defense and make plays that way, and that's what it's about, making plays.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capabilities and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Christian Kirk, the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game. The Baptist Health Injury Report when we return. 16-15 the final. Steelers over the Jaguars, and it's Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Are your heating and cooling costs extremely high? Do you want to extend the lifespan of your heating and cooling system investment? If so, Florida Home Air Conditioning is ready to help you save some money. Schedule your annual AC or heating system tune-up today with Florida Home Air Conditioning for only $59. Florida Home Air Conditioning, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Call 855-FLA-HOME.
License number CMC 1250399, CFC 1430664, EC 130-08557.
How far should we go? When it comes to the health of children, we will stop at nothing, focusing on prevention as much as cures. Working with community leaders, educators, policymakers to make every child's world a place for them to thrive. Going to the nth degree and beyond. Nemours Children's Health, well beyond medicine. Join the journey at nemours.org/beyond.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville. Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour, weekend brunch, and nightcap on Friday and Saturdays from 10 until midnight. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale, 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class health care. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
Welcome back. Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick with Fred Taylor after a Jags loss in preseason week 2. And it's time for the Baptist Health Injury Report. Baptist Health changing healthcare for good. Well, there were 5 players that were held out tonight for the Jaguars for various stages of trying to work their way back. Devin Lloyd, one of those, a linebacker who's been out all training camp with a hamstring issue. We'll see if he gets some time next week in Atlanta. He was trending that way the end of this past week. James Robinson, of course, running back, same thing, working his way bit by bit to maybe get some. He actually got some team reps last week, but we'll see if they want to throw him out there against the Falcons. I don't know about that, Fred, though. We'll see. And then a few others before the game. Darius Williams has not seen a lot of time yet. He is getting some teamwork, but still has the non-contact jersey on in practice. A couple of offensive linemen down as well. The one during the game, Foley Fatukasi, the free agent defensive lineman, went down apparently a lower right leg issue, and I saw him on the sidelines with the team doctor Kevin Kaplan and the athletic training staff, Fred. They let him run a little bit, kind of stretching both lower legs there to see what would fire, what wouldn't, and they just decided, I think, to keep him off to the side as a precaution. It felt like there was no official status from the team, but it could have been a whole lot worse, I think.
Right. There's no need to press it. Here's a guy they're going to depend on throughout the course of the season. So keep him there, caution yourself, and do whatever necessary treatment during the week and get him ready to play joint practice versus Atlanta or ready for week 1.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Jaguars radio network. Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Steelers 16, Jaguars 15. We're back with a preview of next week's practices in Atlanta. It's Jaguars postgame on the Jaguars radio network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit VyStarCU.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
At Farah & Farah, we represent people from all walks of life in matters involving personal injury cases. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter which neighborhood you call home. Because everyone deserves justice, dignity, and respect. And remember, when it comes to compensation, you only get one shot. Make it count. Call Farah & Farah at 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick with Fred Taylor. Well, you mentioned earlier in the show, Fred, right off, I think, the top, that you liked the way Travis Etienne Jr. played again tonight. What did you like about it?
You know, the consistency that I see from Etienne is he has great vision. You know, his decision-making is very solid. You know, Mike called it dancing
last week in this postgame show.
But for me, it's tempo. As a running back, it's tempo, it's patience, because when you see it, you got to go. You know, and he's able to do that. He's running with great pad level. He's breaking tackles. You know, it's not a big back, you know, in terms of size, but he's running with power because he has great pad level, and he's making decisive cuts, and he's downhill. You know, so for me, that's what I want to see in my running backs. I will never question a running back and say they're dancing when, you know, they're setting up the play. Because you got to have tempo. You got to have that patience. You got to have that trust in your ability to be able to get back to it and make the play. There was run. I mean, he probably ran 20 yards on the play just to get back to the line of scrimmage. They had him there for a 5-yard loss. But he showed some quickness. You know, he was able to break those tackles and get back there, which didn't set the offense back. It didn't set the play caller back to now have to call a, you know, second and 13 or 14 plays. Hard to find those plays in the playbook. But he's very impressive coming off of his injury. He's going to put some pressure on the running back room, you know, and I would prefer to see a healthier James Robinson to really see true competition battle and put some pressures on the coaching staff to see who they would name the starter, you know, going into week 1. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it's always good to have two very good guys, you know, at a position battling it out, because it's just going to make the room better. It's going to allow the play call an opportunity to get more creative with having options, you know, out there at the same time. So it's good to see it.
What'd you think of Snoop Connor tonight? He ran over a couple guys.
Ran over,
red zone.
Very good downhill.
Yeah.
Downhill runner. That's his strength. I saw a play down there on the goal line. I think it was 2nd and 5. You know, he missed the cut there on the zone play, but that can happen. He kept it front side. But a strong downhill runner, that would create some change of momentum, change of pace between the style, having those style differences between those two guys.
This week, Fred, the Jaguars head to Flowery Branch, Georgia, and they'll practice for 2 days against the Atlanta Falcons, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the game Saturday, I believe, a 3 o'clock kickoff time at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. Did you ever do like joint practices when you were playing? Like,
yeah.
How often and when? And what do you get out of it?
I thought we did more with under Coach Coughlin early on. It breaks the monotony of playing against each other, practicing against each other all the time. I think back in the day it was a lot worse. We had those 2-a-day practices, full padded practices all the time. And I think we practiced against Atlanta somewhere.
Okay.
Went away.
Because
they
used to be in South Carolina.
Be here. I
Yeah.
think that's where it was.
That's right.
My memory fails me sometimes.
I think it was like in Spartanburg or somewhere up there.
And then it would be the Saints. I remember the Saints would come down here. We would practice against the Saints a few times on dual practice. But that was always good back in the day to sort of, you're not hitting your guy. You want to see where you are and putting your best foot forward. But if I can give those guys any advice, is that when things get heated, keep your helmets on. Don't punch into a face mask, and
break a hand.
And break your wrist like my good friend Big Marcus Stroud did back in the day, where he and Mark Banowitz went at it under Coach Coughlin. And TC was like, Marcus, be smarter than that. I'll fine you for breaking your hand. I think he messed up his wrist somehow. We always.
Well, not only did he break his hand, he got fined too.
Coach Coughlin wasn't going to miss an opportunity to fine anyone. His college teammate got fined $10,000 for wearing a bright orange-colored gaitered suit. So TC wasn't missing an opportunity to fine anybody.
Fred, well done tonight, as always.
Appreciate you.
And have a great week. We'll talk to you ahead of the Falcons-Jaguars game coming up this next Saturday, a week from tonight. Have a good week.
Always looking forward to it, man. You too. See you soon.
Always good to see you. Fred Taylor, pride of the Jaguars running back, the GOAT with us. Hey, if you're listening in Jacksonville, yeah, you're the GOAT. I can say that.
I appreciate it.
If you're listening in Jacksonville, the Scoreboard Show is coming up next. We'll take your calls at 355-NFL-1. VP of Production, Patrick Cavanaugh. Executive Producer, Dave DeCandis. Manager of Radio, Joe Fortunato. Linda Fortunato, our studio producer, Tony Smith as well. Brent Reber, Trent Padilla, Gabby Dalton produce our video for Jaguars.com. For Fred Taylor and our entire crew, this is JP Shadrick saying good night. Final score, Steelers 16, Jaguars 15 on the Jaguars Radio Network.
The Jaguars are future-focused. Welcome to the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. This is your chance, Jaguars fans, to sound off about today's game. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Farah and Farah, Baptist Health, and by TIAA Bank. Now, waiting to hear from you. Here are Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks, and JP Shadrick.
Welcome back. It's the Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick. Jeff Lageman's going to stand in. And Bucky Brooks is here tonight as well. We'll have your calls. 355-NFL1, 355-6351. Expert analysis coming up after the Jaguars lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in preseason week number 2. The Jaguars fall, and they had a chance with a last-second field goal. It goes wide right. They had a couple 2-minute situations. They couldn't finish those tonight. Bucky Brooks is with us now. Hello, Bucky. Good evening.
What's happening, man?
How are you?
What's going on? I'm great.
Thanks for
I don't
hanging,
like all
man.
these losses, though.
You know
silly losses.
who's also sitting in tonight, and it's Jeff Lageman. We've got expert analysis.
What's happening?
I might. Yeah, right. The big Virginia guy. Hey, so starters go a first half on offense. Christian Kirk made his debut tonight. The defense goes into the third quarter for a drive, and they look good against the run, good on third downs tonight, Bucky. And there's still some things to work on. Doug Peterson said that after the game, but okay, you've got some things to work on, but he likes where they're going. Their trajectory as a team's pretty good still.
Yeah, I like what I saw up front. Look, man, if you can stop the run and run the ball, it gives you a chance. And tonight we saw the Jaguars being able to do that. And Pittsburgh is not the old Pittsburgh, but they still are kind of like the measuring stick when it comes to physicality and toughness. And I will say the first team defense, that front line, they were whooping their tail up front. And so I kind of like that. They talked about being bullies on the block. And so defensively, I like where they're trending.
Good. I mean, real good.
Right?
Yeah, Bucky's right.
They allowed, 24 rushing yards the whole game?
Yeah, well, the one thing I don't like, Fatukasi went out with an injury. I mean, that's a big concern because that's not really a position that they're very deep at.
That's right. And I saw that on the sideline. Like they were letting him run a little bit just to test it out, testing both kind of calves, it looked like, and then you said, just hold off.
Well, on the field, when it happened, he reached back and grabbed his right calf.
Yeah.
And so, that's a little cause for concern right there. You just cut Malcolm Brown, a guy who was your starter last year. It's a position that you haven't got a whole lot of productivity so far out of some drafted players, and so can you get some out of them? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Fatukasi, they brought him in for a reason. He's a big, strong, powerful man that can play end, and he can also play nose tackle. So that's kind of something to watch. But the thing that I think was different about them tonight, too, is they took Josh Allen and then Trayvon Walker, and they flipped sides with them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they put Trayvon as the left outside linebacker and then put Josh as the right outside backer. Now they went back to kind of their spots of comfort later in the game. But, and I'm sure that they did that just from hey, let's take a look at these guys to see if we get maybe a matchup we like in a regular season and we can flip them. But the thing that I saw, Josh looked more comfortable on the right side or looked comfortable on the right side. Trayvon did not look as comfortable on the left side. So it's just something to watch in the future going forward.
But not only that, the thing that stood out to me was when they went, I don't know what they'll call that package, but they went to their speed package where it was Josh and Trayvon and Arden Key and Caleb on Chase on.
Yeah.
And they were going one-on-ones. And the thing that was most impressive about that package, they were able to play a traditional 7-man zone behind it, yet they were still knocking the quarterback around. Mm-hmm. And anytime you're able to rush the pass without having to commit an extra defender, depending on how those guys hold up in the back end, it's favorable. And so you can see where when people talk about stopping the run, and Cole was like, hey, we stopped the run because stopping the run allows you to do all the cute stuff.
If you don't do that, you're not getting to that package.
Right. Yeah, so being able to stop the run like they've been able to consistently do the last 2 weeks has been impressive, and so it's trending the right direction.
904-355-NFL1, the number, 904-355-6351. This, if you haven't called, this might be the night to call. We've got Jeff Lageman and Bucky Brooks in here. Expert answers ahead to your questions.
Expert and JP Shadrick.
I'm just here to get us to commercial break, which I'm doing right now. 355-NFL1. We're off and running on the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Decisions are a part of our everyday life. Whether you're building a football team or building your education, your success is built on the decisions you make. So choosing J-Tech as your career training destination should be a no-brainer. With small class sizes, dedicated instructors, job placement assistance, and financial aid available for those who qualify, J-Tech is praised as a good choice by our graduates. Learn how you can build your career the right way by visiting jtech.org for more information.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates Frequent Shopper Clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Travel Camp RV, official RV dealer of the Jacksonville Jaguars, invites you to come shop their huge selection of inventory for your dream RV. With locations across the Southeast, you're sure to find them close by. Get value pricing on the top RV brands in the country, paired with the guaranteed best financing options available. You can also shop their inventory at travelcamp.com. Travel Camp RV has helped more families make more great memories in an RV since 1982. They're excited to add you to the Travel Camp RV family today.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in D.C., Los Angeles. Watch them win in Philly, Indy, Detroit, Nashville, New York, and Houston. When you fly nonstop from Jax, on airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking is just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
We're back. It's the Scoreboard Show. 355 NFL1, 355-6351. JP Shadrick, Bucky Brooks, preseason television analyst, Jeff Lageman, radio analyst. Jaguars fall 16-15. Hi, Log.
I got a question. I thought there was cold beers.
You got to call
in this
355 NFL1 for questions.
Yeah. I mean, I thought if we were coming, there was cold beers.
You know, Logs, like
that was what I mean. That's what sold me on coming here tonight.
You know, Logs, the league has changed. Like no longer can you get on the plane and have those two beers sitting on your seat.
I used to grab.
Well, I'm just saying they were in the bag, and then you collect everybody else's.
They were in a bag, but I had two in this one, two in that one, two in that one. So I had a 6-pack.
Yeah, like those days are long gone.
I don't know. I only drink unsweetened iced tea. That's all I do anymore.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's all the Palmer got. But.
Let's go to the phone line.
The wino cat fight referee JP Shadrick. Inside story on that one. Anyway,
let's go to the phone lines quickly. Saqib is with us as always, and good evening, Saqib. What's up?
What's up, boys? How are you?
Great, man. What's happening?
It's nice to hear Logs and my buddy Bucky Brooks. It's awesome to hear him. And let me get this straight, okay? Let me understand this. We got rid of a kicker that was doing really good in the year, Matt Wright. We got this kid, and he can't hit. Can you explain to me why the Jaguars got rid of Matthew Wright, and he was doing really good last year towards the end of the season, and got this guy who can't hit? I believe we need a kicker, and we need him yesterday, because this guy is not going to make it, and we need to cut this guy tomorrow. I want this guy gone, and we need a new kicker. I don't care what they got to do, trade, get another guy. I want a new kicker, and I want him tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Saqib. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting position that this football team is in right now. And why get rid of Matthew Wright? I think essentially he doesn't have a strong leg. And that's something that they felt like, okay, look, we're just not going to be satisfied there because of the kickoffs, because of the length, because of the ability to make the longer kicks. And, yes, he made some kicks that were longer last year, but the reality is if you watched them, they weren't exactly things.
Remember the London game? With the scenic route to
pretty.
Get there.
They weren't pretty long makes, okay? And the kicker for this football team might be with another team right now. There's two hotly contested kicking battles that are going on around the league. I believe there's one of them in Detroit, one of them in Indianapolis, I think. And so, these are the kicker may be on another roster right now.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to find a position. It's such a ticky-tack position because there's so many things that go into it. It's not a standard evaluation, and sometimes when kickers start missing, you just have to let them go because they can't bring it around. And so now you're sitting there. It's a very important position because if you have a money kicker, what it does, it shrinks the field for the offense. So now every time you get to the 35-yard line, you're short of having points. Well, it changed the way Doug Peterson calls plays. And it's one of those things that you have to resolve it. And when you get one, man, you'd like to have one of those Justin Turner guys that just –
yeah, you don't worry about it.
just Justin Tucker.
You think?
Yeah, you just have him. You sign him for as long as you need to sign him and keep him, and it's money. It's such a big weapon.
That end of the game opportunity there with Ryan Santoso. I mean, it's
needs to be money.
He makes that kick. Okay, you feel fairly
feel
good
better
about the Jaguars kicker.
Does
You're
Saqib,
all right.
does Saqib's call sound different if he makes the kick at 57 yards?
Sure. I mean, look, when you miss, I think you missed 53, made it 51, and then you missed the game winner. Okay, then it's not too bad. But that's the life of a kicker, man. I mean, that's just the reality. I'm sorry, but that's how it works.
Devil's advocate. It's still 57 yards. It's still a long field goal.
Yeah, but
right?
JP, if it was from 50, it wasn't good. It was mishit. It was wide right.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird knuckling kind of kick.
Yeah, you want to see how people perform under pressure. And so if he's going to send it wayward and have a divot and all kinds of other stuff, we're on this 18th hole and he can't put the thing on the green, it's a problem. And so you have to find someone who's nails. And right now the kicker obviously isn't on the roster, so you're just scouring the waiver wire waiting to see if you can find someone.
And the crazy thing is that Santoso, since the previous kicker, Elliott Fry, was released, and practice has been money.
Yeah, I think he missed one all week.
I mean, fantastic.
Yeah.
So does this game change that perception? Absolutely, because it's a game day performance type of evaluation. That's when the lights are bright. That's when you got to perform.
355 NFL1, the number 355-6351. Let's go to the west side. Nathaniel joining us tonight. Good evening, Nathaniel.
Good evening. I know we just got done talking about the kickers, so I was wondering if do you think y'all gonna maybe bring back Elliott Fry or bring in another kicker since he just missed a big game-winning kick?
Yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah, Elliott Fry was waived injured, I believe, but it just feels like we just talked about this, but yeah, you're waiver wire scouring at some point towards the end. I mean, do you go try to sign somebody to get you through the next week? But he can get you through the week at least.
Oh, look, the reality is
maybe he starts making field goals again.
If you're one of these other teams that has a kicker battle going on that you've kind of made your mind up on, then you're making phone calls to see if you can maybe squeeze a draft pick out of the Jaguars for a kicker, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some phone calls ringing on multiple ends, and as far as going out and coming in.
Yeah, 6- or 7th-round pick somewhere so you secure. You don't have to go through the process of the waiver wire. That's what you do. That's why they hold on to certain guys. That's why they'll release guys a day or two before so that everyone knows my guy might be available, but you have to come and give me something.
We'll come back. More of your calls, 355 NFL1. JP Shadrick, Bucky Brooks, Jeff Lageman. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG, too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the Kinetico difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you tired of being late to the game because you're stuck in traffic or circling the lot looking for a place to park? Well, join the thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smartest way to get to TIAA Bank Field is on the JTA Game Day Express. Shuttles run from 4 convenient locations around Jacksonville, including the Kings Avenue parking garage on the South Bank. Tickets start at just $10 and are available exclusively on the Token Transit mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back, JP Shadrick, Bucky Brooks, Jeff Lageman. The Scoreboard Show after a Jaguars loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers preseason week 2. Phone lines are open, 355-NFL-1, 355-6351. Quarterback play. Trevor Lawrence tonight in this game. Got the start, of course. Goes the first half, finishes 14 of 21, 133 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions, a rating of 84. They ran him twice. Bucky, what'd you make of the quarterback play tonight?
I thought it was solid. I think there are a couple of things that are showing up consistently when it comes to Trevor. One, the offense that they're building around him reminds me a lot of some of the stuff they did in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, meaning we're seeing a lot of the bootleg game, the bootleg action coming on the backside of the running game. So if you're able to establish the run and then use that, he's having easy throws, and it makes the game really easy for the quarterback. Secondly, we're seeing a lot of the crossing route, the mesh shallow combinations where they're sending crosses over. What that does is gives the quarterback an easy outlet versus pressure. So he knows if I'm blitzing, I'm hitting one of the crossers, and so the completion rate is there. Trevor's been good with that stuff. My biggest concern right now has been their inability to get touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah, that's Doug talked about that all week.
So the thing that you have to do when the quarterback, tighter windows, the ball has to be out early and has to be very precise when it comes to ball placement. And right now we just haven't seen that part of it.
And part of getting that ball out early is making fast decisions with your mind. And that's something that, in fact, JP, when you talked about with Doug Peterson in the pregame interview, he said that we want Trevor's eyes to move faster.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. And so, but part of it also is that, look, when you've got a 3rd and 4 and Christian Kirk is running a 6-yard out route in the left flat, you got to hit him.
Hit him.
You can't miss that throw. I mean, that's got to be a routine throw. I mean, Rudolph makes that little throw at the goal line that was a tougher throw than that, and he's probably going to be a 13 quarterback in Pittsburgh. So, two misses on the first drive for Trevor. The first 2 drives weren't great. The third drive, he kind of gets better, and Doug talked about it in the post-game press conference about his need to kind of calm down a little bit, kind of get things going a little bit sooner. But the reality is he has to get better. The progressions have to get better, and then the throws have to get better. And it's a lot in year 2. Again, you're adjusting to, 4 out of the 5 talent position or skill positions on offense around him are new.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's timing that needs to be worked out. But look, you're part of that timing, and you're the one that controls it, so you need to be better.
No, that's it. He did hit us with a big-time throw. The throw down the sideline to Marvin Jones where he layered it over Cam Sutton and dropped it in.
Yep.
That's a big-time throw. But what he has to understand, that's the expectation all the time. Like, that's what high-end quarterbacks are supposed to do. Like,
that's why consistency.
That's why they pay them $45, $50 million is because you're supposed to drop that thing in the mailbox every time.
$45, $50 million.
Wow. I'm going to get my arm loose.
I should have stayed at quarterback.
Let's go to the phone lines, 355-NFL-1. And we go to the south side and say good evening to John. What's up, John?
Hi, guys. I'm a big fan of the show. How concerned are you both that Trevor's not throwing touchdowns in these 2 preseason games? So, how concerned are you?
Yeah, we just talked a little bit about that, guys, but thanks for the call, by the way. He's going to shake out of this, right? I mean, they're going to score, aren't they, Logs?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they should have scored before in the previous game against
scored the
Cleveland.
last 2 games right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. And I look, I'm not pushing the emergency button, okay? It's the preseason.
Is it even on the
early.
desk yet?
What?
The emergency button, is it even out on the desk where it's within reach yet?
No. It's not even on the desk. I'm
okay.
But it makes you, it grabs your attention and says, pay attention and follow this more, because that's where this team needs to get better at offensively for them to take a next step. In year 2, quarterbacks typically make a big jump, and but the good thing is it's not counting yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it's counting pretty soon.
Yeah, and they are moving the ball. They had a 10-play drive. They had a 15-play drive tonight. Yeah, it just fell short.
In a league where most games are decided by 8 points or fewer, you can't settle for 3s. You got to get 7s. And when you get inside the red zone, you have to find a way to put 7s up. So part of that is the running game, but big part of that is Trevor Lawrence having to fit the ball into tight windows. It is the difference between good and great and average and good is your ability to fit the ball into tight windows in the red zone where everything happens quicker. Can he anticipate it and drill it in there? I mean, we saw it. I mean, Kenny Pickett is Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett comes right in, makes a play, throws with timing and touch and anticipation. They score a touchdown. That's what happens. Your big-time quarterbacks have to be able to make it happen.
I mean,
even with small hands.
The wow moment in the game was Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, partly because he comes in and he's, standing in the pocket. He's making nice throws.
Getting hit in the face.
And, I mean, the wow moment went to Kenny Pickett tonight. And that's, you'd like to have the wow moment be a Trevor Lawrence in this game in year 2 with, first overall pick quarterback. And I believe that he will get there. But tonight it wasn't the wow moment for him.
Let's go back to the phone lines, and we head down to Mandarin. Terry on the line. What's up? Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Before I ask my question about the quarterback situation, I would like to just point out to give kudos to the offensive line in the running game today. And the fact that we didn't notice Ben Bartch to me was a good sign. Given that, the way we're running the bootleg game, do we have a backup quarterback? I know we got C.J. Beathard out there, but is there anybody that's going to be able to run that? God forbid we lose Trevor for any amount. Give me that the time, and I'll take it off the air.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate that from Mandarin tonight. Well, what do you think, Logs?
I think it's a great question. And that, the movement that Doug Peterson likes with his quarterbacks in this offense. There was one play in particular that gave me a little bit of cause for concern when C.J. Beathard scrambles. He's got a pretty good side of that left, the opponent's sideline, and you're like, okay, he's going to gain some yardage. And the next thing you know, he's not moving real fast. Yeah. And I know that C.J. was coming back from an injury that he sustained in the OTAs, minicamp, or whenever.
It was the last day of the offseason. It was a groin issue, and they had literally 4 players picked him up and put him on a cart.
And he did not practice for the first part of training camp. And when he came out there, I sat there and I said to myself, he's not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he scrambled for the little goal line, at the goal line touchdown, it was another moment where you go, it wasn't really 100%, and so I'm sitting there saying to myself, he's not 100% yet. Or maybe he's just being cautious. It could be both. I don't know. So, but he needs the reps because this offense is also new for him, and because I can tell you after next week he's not getting any reps in practice. His reps are going to go to Trevor Lawrence in the first team offense. So CJ needs to take advantage of the rep opportunity when he can.
I think he's the backup, but I think you always have to mind the position, see if you can find a better backup. He's the backup. I think there's a comfort level with him, but he's not I would say, in the mold of Trevor Lawrence. So your offense has to change a little bit if he has to play.
You know who certainly knows the importance of the backup quarterback? It's the head coach, Doug Peterson. He won a Super Bowl with one, for goodness sakes. So he understands it.
I don't think that. Look, here's the reality: that you always are looking for the next best young quarterback. That's the endless search in the National Football League. And if you're not looking, you're making a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And is CJ ever going to be a franchise guy? No. I mean, he's a backup. That's what he is right now. So at some point, you got to continue that search and then continue to push him to hopefully maybe move him out of that roster spot to go with a young player. But you do that once you get comfortable with your starter being experienced and successful.
We'll come back in a moment. More of your calls. 355-NFL-1, the number 355-6351. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is hiring nurses who want to be empowered as advocates, educators, care coordinators, and leaders in exceptional patient care. They have open RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home health care settings. Join their nationally recognized team, where you'll serve as a central team member doing what you do best, providing exceptional patient care. Apply at careers.brooksrehab.org. Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars in D.C., Los Angeles. Watch them win in Philly, Indy, Detroit, Nashville, New York, and Houston. When you fly nonstop from Jax, on airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking is just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Bucky Brooks. Glad you're along with us. The Jaguars lost tonight in preseason week 2, 16-15 the final score. Let's go back to the phone lines. Robert in Keystone. Good evening, Robert.
Hey, guys. Really liked the show tonight. Apologize if y'all already talked about this, but I was on hold, so I was concerned about the kick return, Laviska Shenault. Maybe not being able to, I don't know, he just didn't look like he was crisp, like he was on tonight. And I was wondering if how come Agnew went back returning kicks.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, Agnew was doing some offensive work tonight. They know what he is in the return game.
You think?
I don't think you have to really test that out. But
well, and the other thing is he's still coming back from an injury himself too. So you don't want to expose him when he's a known quantity.
Yeah, and you're counting on that. This Laviska Shenault business is just kind of trying it out in camp. And like we said during the game, he didn't return punts in college. He wasn't that guy. He did a few different things on offense, but he had like one kick return and no official punt returns, only had a fumble return on a punt return for a touchdown. So this is all new to him.
He's not a returner.
No.
I mean, Laviska's not a returner. He doesn't have the speed and nor the open field agility, I don't believe, to be a returner. But they're trying to find that out, and I thought tonight that was made pretty clear.
Yeah, he's not natural. He's not natural as a punt returner. I had a tough time judging and tracking and doing those things.
It's hard to really just jump in and learn that, right? Either you can see that or not, right?
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's something that he needed to work years and years on, being able to judge it, because it's different. Like, it's one thing to catch it out there in practice with no one coming down. It's different when it's live.
Yeah.
When people are in your face and you have to make decisions on whether to fair catch it or how much space do I have, and making good decisions and those things. And it's critical. If you turn the ball over in the kicking game, man, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to end up losing the game, because it's just such a pivotal play.
The first question when you start talking about somebody as a possible punt returner is, can you field the ball? Can we trust you to catch the ball? First instance tonight, he kind of bobbled it. It goes out. Fortunately, he was able, just because he's so strong, was able to pull that ball back in before the Pittsburgh Steelers pounced on it. And, so that wasn't great as far as a punt returner. And then he had an opportunity to try to get all the way around the left side, and didn't look like he had a lot of speed to be able to get around to the outside or the other side, which was the left side on the return. And I will tell you this, being a returner you got to be a different breed now. And the reason I say that is that there's a lot of dudes that run 4.3 on the track. But when you're trying to run 4.3 with 10 dudes coming down the field and want to knock you in the next week that are running full speed, that 4.3 sometimes turn to about 4.7, 4.8.
Mm-hmm. It's different. It's different.
That's why I'm saying it takes a special mindset, or should I say it may be the lack of
maybe you're nuts.
Exactly.
It's a different deal, and it's also different in being a punt returner and a kick returner. And because punt returner, you can be bigger and slower, because if you get past the first wave, it's one thing. Being a kick returner, you got to be bananas, because everyone is coming down, and they're coming down with intent to knock you into the stands, and do you have enough courage to do it? And with Laviska, it's not only that. Like, when we talk about the experience, there's so many split-second decisions that you have to make. I got mad up top at Will Johnson returning with 6 minutes left, and he puts the ball on the ground inadvertently. He has to understand situationally, the one thing you can't do as a returner is lay the ball on the ground, and little stuff. And so it's a lot of little nuance. So now, in desperation to say, I'm going to be the returner.
What's his role then? Shenault.
Well, that's the hard part, because you have to be present. In other words, you have to be available at practice, because this is a new staff. This is a whole new offense. And so to gain the coach's trust, you got to show it. And Laviska has been hurt a little bit, and really hasn't had a great display yet in practice. And so that's an interesting question, JP. I think he's definitely a talent, and he's big, strong, and physical. And the reality is, though, that you gotta show it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he makes this football team. Don't get me wrong, but right now, what's the role for him? How does he get active on game day? That's a great question, and I don't necessarily know what the answer is there, because there's some other guys right now that have a role. Because right now, Laviska would have to play and contribute on special teams to be able to be active on game day, because the decisions about making a roster are ultimately about can we get him active on game day. And if you can't get active on game day, in other words, if you don't have a role or you haven't earned a role, then it's hard to find a roster spot for that guy.
Are we past the point of, trying to find some not trick plays, but kind of gadgety things for him? It's that too late in camp for that now, right?
How long are we going to do that? We've talked about that for years.
That's
and I know
what I'm
this
saying.
is Doug Peterson's first year. If that was going to happen,
it would have been in April or May, right?
Yeah, like I saw this. I saw Jamal Agnew run onto the field, and Jamal Agnew got a quick screen right away and gained 7 or 8 yards, and he came off. And so to me, that is a coaching staff already knowing that this guy has a role that he's already carved out and defined from last season. With Laviska, I don't know. And so we talk about making special teams. Someone should have whispered to Laviska, rather than being a returner, you need to get on those kick cover units with his size. He's 220 pounds. He can go down on kickoff and do something. There's a role for him to play on punt coverage. He can be a personal protector or a gunner.
Or a return game.
Yeah, but now, I'm a try and do these punt returns and kick. No, your size, he should be a cover unit guy. He should be.
You got to want to go tackle, though, right?
Yeah, you want to play in the league
It's
or
like
not?
it's like the biggest kid in the classroom, all of a sudden wants to try out for quarterback, and you go, son, you're an offensive lineman.
Yeah, like yes, he has to know that. Like, just have enough awareness to know he looks like a cover guy. Like, there are a bunch of guys who've carved out nice careers at his size that were listed as wideouts, but they were cover specialists.
Look at Laquan Treadwell. Okay, Laquan Treadwell is a guy who's carved a rollout for himself.
Yes.
Okay, blocks his rear end off as a wide receiver.
He's a big
willing
guy.
Player on special teams. Will mix it up a little bit in a physical fashion on special teams.
And so understand this.
That's it.
You know where that happened? You get cut a couple times. You lose that
humble pie.
Yeah, you lose that first round stigma. Oh no! I'll go down and bust a kick. You need me to be an R4, L. You need me to come out here and be a gunner or a hold up guy. You'll do those things. Laviska hasn't had that realization yet, but he has to, because that, to me, that's his path in this league if he wants to have a long career.
Let's get one more phone call in tonight. This is back to Mandarin. Tim wants to talk linebackers, especially a rookie who had a pretty good game tonight, right?
Yeah. Gentlemen, almost good morning. Bucky and Jeff, I wanted to pose this to you because for some reason, watching Chad Muma, there's just something about him I like. And I don't know if I'm just looking at it all the good and not seeing the bad, but this guy just seems like year 3, he's going to be one of those ones that you're looking at for Pro Bowl. I'd just like to get some of the feedback from y'all because not a lot of people are talking about him.
Appreciate the phone call. He had 4 tackles tonight, Jeff. Would you make a Chad?
Well, I like his progression that he's made. The first game against Oakland, Hall of Fame game, looked like it was a little big for him, which is not surprising. First-year player coming in as a rookie, playing that position is difficult. Big improvement, I thought, against the Cleveland Browns, and I thought he took another step today. Nearly had the interception. If he had just done the toe tap on the sideline, would have been a big-time play.
He kind of bobbled it, but it was a great play to be there.
Yeah, and he's athletic, and he's big, and he runs, and I feel good about him. But the reality is I can't wait to see Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, right.
I've seen college film on Devin Lloyd, and I've seen college film on Chad Muma, and I think Chad is going to be a good football player. But the one I think is really special is Devin Lloyd, and I think Muma can eventually get to that point. But for now, I think Muma's role is going to be special teams. But I don't know if we're going to get a chance to see Devin Lloyd before the regular season begins, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Like, I'm an unabashed Chad Muma
You said
fan.
that the whole thing, the whole pre-draft and everything.
Because there's things that he's able to do instinctively that you want your linebackers to do. And he reminds me a lot of Logan Wilson, who played at Wyoming, but also has been a stud linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals. He can hit, run, and cover. He has great awareness in those things. The problem that he has is he's in a situation where it's 3 to play 2. Fourier has 1. Devin Lloyd has the other. And so he has to figure out a way to get in where he fits in. But I think he's a smart player. He's aware, and there'll be a place for him. But right now, like Lux, Devin Lloyd's a monster. He's a monster at Utah. He can come off the edge. He can add to the blitz pressure.
He's around the ball
he's
all the
around
time.
the ball. He's physical. He does all those things. And so it's a good problem to have. It's not a bad problem to have.
And I will say that Chad is the future. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a starting role at some point, but I think it's coming. But it's Devin Lloyd's first, okay, and Laquan will be out there. Okay, now a year or two down the road, does Chad Muma challenge Laquan for that starting job? That's the one to watch.
Sure. Let's come back. Our final thoughts. Our final segment. It's Bucky Brooks and Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Decisions are a part of our everyday life. Whether you're building a football team or building your education, your success is built on the decisions you make. So choosing J-Tech as your career training destination should be a no-brainer. With small class sizes, dedicated instructors, job placement assistance, and financial aid available for those who qualify, J-Tech is praised as a good choice by our graduates. Learn how you can build your career the right way by visiting jtech.org for more information.
When it comes to water, choose our team, the winning team. Choose CGC Water Treatment. CGC Water Treatment works, and it works for DG too. Former Jags QB, David Garrard.
If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Discover the kinetical difference.
Call CGC Water Treatment at 844-CGC-JAGS or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Kinetico dealers.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Final thoughts on the Scoreboard Show. Thanks for the calls tonight, everybody, after a Jaguars loss in preseason week 2, 16-15. Late Steelers touchdown. Jags missed a 57-yard field goal at the gun to fall to 0-3 now in the preseason. Bucky Brooks, Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick, and the Atlanta Falcons are next, Bucky. A couple of joint practices. You can get some good work done up in Flowery Branch. You know, leave the heat of Jacksonville and go to an even hotter place for a couple days. Why not?
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. The joint practices would be where a lot of the work gets done because that'll be the last time the ones kind of get after it. They do it in a controlled environment where you can put them in situations. You get the competitiveness of going against another team's starters. But hopefully, knock on wood, you don't have the recklessness like a preseason game where someone can get injured. So hopefully everyone will come through that. And then for the backups, haven't been in this situation. This preseason game, this is like your Super Bowl. Like, if you don't empty the bucket in this preseason game, you could go home. You may never put the pads on again. Having done it a few different times, it'll be weird to call it, but you will see some guys landing on the line, landing on the line because this might be it. And so it'll be fun to watch that, despite not seeing a bunch of the starters playing.
What do you think about the practices? What do you want to see, Logs?
Well, first of all, Bucky's right. It's a great opportunity to get lots of pictures, too. Get your family members there, make sure they got the evidence,
Hit the DVR. You might want to tape this one.
This is it, man. This is it.
But, the practices are and I think this is a great situation going into your last preseason game because you're going to practice with another team. You can have your starters get quality controlled reps against quality starters of another football team in a controlled environment, and let the starters take the majority of the snaps in these two practices. And you're probably going to have one really tough practice, physical, the next one probably not so much. And then once you get to the game, okay, now let's take a look at our backups, and then let's look at those fringe guys or those decision-making roster spots that we really have to evaluate. So this is a very important week, and they're all important, but this one a little bit more so, and you also hope that you come out of this week healthy. You don't want to have any injuries where you're scrambling. And look, I understand injuries are part of the deal, but any one that happened in the last week of the preseason are not good.
You just want to get to the starting line of the season.
No dumb stuff, no fights.
Right.
Kind of stay out of it. You don't want to
pretty good fight up in the stands in the stadium here.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Like Fred said, if there is one, keep your helmet on, and don't be throwing punches.
Don't punch. When someone has a helmet on, don't punch.
Yeah.
You can gut them, but don't punch them.
I only had one fight in a preseason game, and that was Philadelphia Eagles' Ron Heller and I got tossed.
You got tossed
in a preseason game?
Preseason game.
Okay, so
I'm not surprised.
No, so there's one or two
at
things.
All.
What preseason game was one of the last ones?
No, I think it was.
Logs ain't want to play.
It was either I think it was the second preseason game.
Logs didn't want to play. He probably was on tap.
He wanted to get those
back in
pads
those.
Ron Heller was one of the dirtiest offensive tackles to ever play the game, and he actually was a coach here for a little while. So me and him actually reminisced about those
He went in with a plan because he knew Heller had a bad reputation. He's like, you know what? I don't feel like being out here today. We're gonna do it because in practice sometimes you do that to break the monotony. Like, hey man, I don't feel.
That would have been a pretty good plan if me and him both said, "Hey, let's get into a fight so we can both get tossed, and we don't have to play." I'll meet you in the hallway and we'll have a cold beer.
Yeah, right. Get out of here. Hello. Safe travels, Bucky. We'll see you in Atlanta.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's get after it.
Let's do it. Logs.
I'll see you in Flowery Branch.
Flowery Branch. Yeah,
it's gonna be hot, muggy,
sweaty.
Take your mosquito repellent.
Grind mode.
Stuff. Grind mode.
Grind mode. Let's go.
Yeah.
Preseason.
JP, it's going to be hot, but come on, man. It's one a days. It's
okay. Back in his day, it was a lot different. We know this.
Like a real camp.
No, I mean it's one a days, and the nice thing is too is that the players and I love this setup. I love the way the preseason is now because you get one a days, and then it's the last preseason game, and then you have a 2-week break prior to the opener. I think that's awesome.
Big time. All right, that'll do it for our program tonight. Thanks for the calls tonight. We appreciate that. The Jaguars fall in preseason week 2, 16-15 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our thanks to Tony Smith, Linda Fortunato, Joe Fortunato, Jeff Loggeman for jumping in tonight with us. Appreciate that. Bucky Brooks as always, and I'm JP Shadrick. Dave DeCandis, Gabby Dalton, our entire Jaguars.com crew. Brent Reber's in here as well. The list goes on and on and on. Happy Sunday. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.